Welcome to the podcast that looks at truth, fiction, and reality with a smirk. I'm Aaron Peterson.
I'm Amanda Sink.
And I'm Zach Parkerson.
And welcome to Smirk. Each week, one of our hosts introduces an original story, which we then use as a springboard for a spirited and lighthearted discussion, whatever the moral or theme of their story is. This week it is my turn. Prepare for amazing.
Wow, that's a bold claim.
All right, are you guys ready for this story?
I suppose it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
I'm just trying to build it up, man. Get excited for my stuff.
All right, let's hear this amazing
Woohoo!
story.
It's exciting.
I'm excited, for the record.
Wow.
I'm excited. I was putting it on the record even.
Hey, he's going up a little bit. By the end of the story, I feel like, Zach, you're going to really appreciate the ending.
Oh, really?
Oh, so somebody's dying,
No,
for sure.
It's a positive story.
I don't necessarily need characters to die for a story to be good, okay? That's a misconception about me, and I don't appreciate it.
Okay, then what do you need for it to be happy?
Way to just put him in a box, Amanda.
Yeah, what's that about?
Way to just live in that box.
Just because I kill off every character by the time the Matrix ends doesn't mean anything.
Now it's time for... I don't even know what that means. All right, now it's time for my story.
Shut up. It's the best movie trilogy ever made.
Gather on the campfire.
Hey, that's not cool. That's copyright infringement.
Time for a story.
That's twice now.
Sally stared at the metal barrier in front of her. This was it, her moment of truth. As she awaited her destiny, a life wasted flashed in front of her eyes. The time she should have taken Gary in the office up on his dinner invitation, that promotion she passed up in Seattle to be closer to family, a myriad of choices and twists in her life flew by as she prepared for the end. The voice on the intercom erupted as though the announcer was screaming directly into her soul. "Please step forward into the car." Sally took a deep breath. She turned around to retreat, but several hundred people were already lined up and staring her down. She knew they would not allow her to flee. She must face her fate. Sally moved past the barrier and into the car, where she sat down with ferocity. She had no idea how she got to this moment, but she instantly regretted every single choice that led her to it. The strange announcer walked over and pulled her bar down, locking Sally in her seat. There was no turning back now. She had to see this through. "Here we go!" She heard an eerie glee in the announcer's voice as the cars departed. Slowly, the semi-connected cars began their trek up the old wooden tracks. Rickety-rack, rickety-rack. The sounds emanating from beneath the car were more terrifying than the ascent itself. As they crested the top, Sally finally began to see over the top of the mountain. Well, what seemed like a mountain anyway. What she saw was a vast emptiness. These cars were about to plummet, and Sally knew these would be her final thoughts. The cars completed their climb and slowly began falling down the other side, one by one. Sally watched as each car dropped completely out of sight, and listened as each time was followed by heightened cries. Finally, it was her turn. This was it. Over the mountain she went, plummeting to her assured death. Faster, faster, faster! Sally was screaming at the top of her lungs. The cars veered right, then snapped back left again, then right, now upside down. The intense speed propelling them forward was nothing short of astonishing. She had never experienced anything like it. As Sally began her second loop, she noticed her screams had stopped. They were now replaced with a wide gaze, a sublime realization that she was now having the time of her life. What an astonishing revelation. Why had she been so terrified before? So amazing, so thrilling, and so exhilarating an experience that Sally never even noticed that somehow, after that last mountain peak, the cars had left the tracks.
A, I'm confused,
Roller
and
coaster.
B, this is obviously fiction. No, I knew it was roller coaster, which is why I say it's fiction. Nobody is that excited to be on a roller coaster because that shit is scary.
Wow.
Everybody is excited on a roller coaster.
Not me.
What are you confused by?
Because the cars were off the track.
Yeah, she didn't notice it. She was having such a good time. She didn't realize the cars had left the tracks.
Final destination.
Like she's dying?
Momentarily.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought, but I didn't. I was like,
Maybe
wait a second, is this where we're
She
leaving
might
the
live.
story?
We don't know.
Yeah.
She might live.
Oh,
I don't-
so you left us on a cliffhanger.
I don't know
Okay, got
Sally's
it.
fate.
Yeah.
Sally just should have not got on the roller coaster. The moral of this story is do not get on a roller coaster because you may end up dead.
Wow. Moral of the story.
So that's her theory.
Don't get too caught up having a good time that you miss. Always keep your guard up.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh, that makes sense with the like actual physical guard too that she had in the story.
Sure.
Not that you would know. You have never ridden a roller coaster.
I have, and I don't like it. I went on the Wizard.
Do you want to know what the
at
real
Six Flags, and I screamed the entire ride. There were 5-year-olds who were like, woohoo! And I'm like, oh my God. I prayed. I don't pray, but I prayed. I prayed to a God that I don't believe in.
God's not going to listen to you just because you prayed at the roller coaster.
Yeah.
He did. I survived, but I'm not doing it
I'm pretty
again.
sure the safety standards at the roller coaster place is why you survived. The actual moral is you never know if you never try.
One time's enough.
Yeah, that's kind of like anal.
Anyway, moving on to the question. So many people think you're a sissy if you won't ride a roller coaster. But are you really? That's my question. Does it make you a pansy to not ride a roller coaster?
I think I know Amanda's opinion. So no, I don't think it does. Everyone's got their own. I think if you refuse to even try a roller coaster, it doesn't make you like a sissy, but it makes you kind of like sad for that person that they won't open themselves up to a different experience. I certainly used to be afraid of roller coasters when I was younger, but then I hopped on one and I was like, hey, you know what? This is an okay time. Hey, I don't think it makes you a wuss. I mean, obviously you're not doing it out of fear. So I guess it is technically cowardly, but I'm not going to judge you or come at you or try to force you on the roller coaster. I just think it's disappointing that you came to me with an amusement park and now you won't ride any of the rides.
We've all been there, right?
Yes.
Why did you come?
Yes.
Why are you here?
Yeah, exactly. You bring a group of 8 people to the roller coaster, and then there's the one guy who just refuses. You're like, why are you here? Brad,
Why did you pay $70 for this?
Oh, it's worse. You wait in line with them, right? You get in the line and you get all the way to the front. No, I can't do it. Yeah, No, I gotta go alone. I'm gonna die alone.
Brad, you bought my ticket. Why? I don't understand any of this. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think
does it make you a sissy that you won't ride a roller coaster?
I'm definitely a sissy. I'm not even going to argue with you guys. I'm a pansy. I am a pansy, and I'm perfectly content with that. Now, I did still ride the roller coaster. I did the Wizard twice. I did a couple other ones. I went on a Ferris wheel. Okay, so I don't know if I've told this Ferris wheel story, but let me tell you how traumatizing this was. So, didn't even go on the biggest one. It's not like I was at Navy Pier. This was like at my local fair.
Okay.
And I went on this. It was with my significant other, and I was like, oh, I'm going to do this because it'll be cute. I've always wanted to do it because I thought it'd be cute, like very Notebook style, except for I don't need anybody crawling around to the other cars.
Is there a Ferris wheel in Notebook?
Yeah. That's the first beginning of it. He like hops up there because he wants to ask her on a date. Or no, he hangs down.
Ironically, I forget that movie.
It's not the best, but it's still good. So anyway, I was...
Zach, you catch that?
It took me a second, but yep, I put it together.
What?
Never mind. Just continue.
Okay. All right.
You'll catch it on the playback.
Oh, yeah, forget?
Yes. There you go.
I got it. I'm a little slow. I'm a pansy and I'm slow. So I'm on this Ferris wheel. And I don't know if you guys... Well, I assume you both have been on a Ferris wheel?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So we were like the second ones to load on. Okay. And we start going around, and that scared me while they were just picking people up. So we get back down to the bottom, and I'm like, oh, okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was. And she looks at me and she's like, as if you think this is the end? And I was like, that's the ride. Is this not the ride? And she's like, yeah, it hasn't even started. They just picked people up and put them on the Ferris wheel. And then the Ferris wheel actually starts going, and I'm screaming because this was terrifying. It went way faster than I thought it was going to.
Oh my God. You're a nightmare to go to fairs with, that's for sure.
I'll do all the games. I like having fun, but man, like it was... Whew, I don't think I'll get on a Ferris wheel again.
Too much. It's too frightening. She saw
I am too frightened.
Yeah, that's too much.
I remember as a kid, like I would not ride a roller coaster for the longest time. My uncle Brian finally made me go on I think it was the Demon was the name of the roller coaster in Chicago area. It's like Great America. It's a big thing, and it does loops, which I don't like the idea of loops. I don't like the idea, but I finally went because I was tired of, basically he was calling me everybody called me a sissy. So that's the only, I went because of peer pressure. I was tired of hearing about it. I'm a man, I'm going to go. And I cried like not a man the entire time. and screaming and yelling. But I ultimately had fun, and then I started to do other stuff, and eventually I still honestly get terrified every time I go on one, and that's part of the thrill to a degree.
I feel like men have it worse too, or boys, in terms of the pansy thing. Like, because you're emasculine.
Yeah, it's not cool. It's not cool that we do that.
Yeah, everyone's got this weird stick up their butt about defining their masculinity. I don't remember at what point in my life I broke of that, but it was pretty young. Like, there's no point in doing something just to prove your masculinity. In fact,
exactly.
That's toxic.
Exactly. Hi. I see what you did there.
You like that?
I was like,
very modern of me.
So why do you think people love roller coasters and rides like this in general, where you basically put your faith in complete strangers to keep you safe? Are we even stupid for thinking this is fun?
It's a controlled fear. You get to experience fear in a safe way, if that makes sense. Like, you can.
I wouldn't call it safe.
Well, I think the stats bear out that it's pretty darn safe. You can, with 99% certainty, Amanda.
I feel like you need to give me the research on these statistics if you're going to throw out percentages.
Do you know how many of those coasters run day in, day out? And
I don't care. They usually at least, hold on. We got an issue before we can load you up.
I can tell you from preparing for this, there are not that many fatalities in roller coasters.
One is more than enough.
One plane killed more than all the roller coasters in history.
I don't care.
Yeah. What about there's so many car accidents every day. You get in a car every day, don't you?
I have to. I'm obligated to.
The same people that are paranoid about this are also the same ones texting on their phones and basically calling in orders for dinner and stuff while they're driving.
It is an extreme sport, but I'll let you finish that before I get in.
Driving's an extreme sport.
Yeah, if it's okay if I finish. It is a almost guaranteed, completely safe way to do something that is going to put fear into you. And since fear is not like an emotion you often get to have fun with, this is a way you can have a little bit of fun with. Same with like horror movies. It's like a nice, safe way for you to experience that emotion.
I should have gone first because that's what I wanted to talk about.
You always think you should go first.
Well,
you always want to talk about what I say.
Yeah. No, the
stalker.
The horror movies is my form of roller coasters, and this is the way I experience them, and this is what I associate horror movies to for people who don't enjoy them. It is a source of adrenaline. It's a source for you to get that rush, as Zach talked about. It's a way for you to experience controlled fear. And everybody enjoys that in different ways. For me, I get more pleasure out of feeling that anxiety and a different form of fear of, this person's going to die or what's going to happen next in a movie. That's my roller coaster. I like that. But I don't like to feel the physical force of, oh my God, I'm going to die. I like to be concerned about other people dying. So everybody has their own desire with it.
It would be weird if you like to be chased around with a butcher knife. That would just be
maybe it's my bedroom kink.
It's an odd.
You don't know.
I don't want to. That's a weird fetish.
I kind of want to hear about it.
You're weird. This is probably actually Zach acts this out in his bedroom.
The roller coaster thing?
No.
Yes. I have a roller coaster in my room.
That would be amazing.
I'm Richie
Rich.
Rich.
A small roller coaster.
As you go to Pound Town.
Yeah.
Call back.
Yeah.
I don't even understand it because I don't love it. But I always enjoy going when it's with friends and stuff. But I like I said earlier, I'm not kidding. I'm terrified every time I go in line. Even though I get in line, and I'm not like terrified to the point where I wouldn't go or anything. But I get unnerved. Especially when you have the dangly ones where your feet are dangling. I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all.
The drop ones?
I feel like I'm not safe, and when this thing goes off the tracks, I can't even hide in a fetal position at the bottom of my car because my rail car, because my feet are dangling. They're just going to drag it. I'm just going to be nothing but stumps because my feet are going to the bottom of my legs are going to rip off as when I hit the pavement. I don't like that at all, but I still get on them because there's kind of a thrill, and there's kind of like I don't know, when you're done, you could say you did it. It's just like a bragging right or something. I went on Superman. That was pretty cool.
I wonder how many people have peed their pants on a roller coaster.
I saw a guy do it.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I've always been worried that I've never wanted to stand underneath it.
He was
or
like
something.
a 50-year-old man.
Ooh.
Where it depends, dude.
He was not Superman.
He was not. It was on, I don't remember the roller coaster, but we were on it. And he was nervous before he got on it. He really shouldn't have been on there. Like, I could tell people were talking him into it. And I just feel bad for whenever people do that. Because it's just like, I mean, and we've all been the person, and we've also been the people trying to talk somebody into going. But there should be a limit to where you say, you know what? If you're not comfortable, just hop out, meet you on the other side. No big deal. But they were like razzing him and everything else. And you could tell it was one of those like peer pressure things. The other side, when we got off, all I know is his pants were soaked and he was humiliated and embarrassed.
So
it was a very sad thing. And they're all like, one of them started to tease him about it. And the other ones were like really cool and saying, no, man. Like, hey, he was really embarrassed and everything else. But there was that one. That was the one. That was the guy you want to get back in that rail car and his bar doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah. Final destination, his life. Yeah. Please.
Wow. That was just injuries.
No, his life.
Okay.
You don't get to like peer pressure somebody into getting on something that they're probably obviously traumatically scared of. And then be like, oh, ha, 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 you were scared of this. What? Yeah, you knew I was scared when I got onto this. You're lucky I didn't pee on your face.
That's what I would have done. I would have taken it out and peed on him.
Yeah, I would have taken off the wet pants and thrown them at him.
Oh, there we go.
Also,
that wouldn't hurt anybody else on the ride that way.
Yeah, I wonder if they had if they have backups of like clothes at the.
No.
I wouldn't imagine, no.
What?
I'm sure they have a lost and found, and I'm sure they have some basketball shorts in there or something. I don't know, but
Are you kidding? If you've been with the bar, you just be like, well, for $28.95 at their gift shop on the way out. Maybe that's why they have gift shops attached to every exit.
It's so funny. Oh.
It's quite the rush. But I know people that they get amped on it. They love it. They just get a huge rush out of it.
Yeah, you get that adrenaline high, you know what I'm saying?
The thrill of death, but never meeting it.
That's what I call my everyday. I just never plan for anything, and I just make it all up as I go along. Live life on the edge.
Do you pay your bills?
When they're due.
Okay. Just check it. I don't know how on the edge you like to live. Like if you like to live on the edge of do I have water or not?
No, sometimes my electricity, might take a little while, but
you just wait for the neighbor to turn on the lights.
Yeah. Start plugging myself into their wall socket. Drag an extension cord.
When an accident happens and something tragic like a coaster does come off the tracks, which is very rare, Amanda.
I'm going to look this up.
Everyone starts screaming for the theme park's head. Like they all start yelling that the theme park should be held accountable. But isn't that part of the risk? Isn't that part of the point to go on these things is that you're risking this?
There are two things here. The first is, yes, you have a risk when you decide to elect to do something that is an elective thing for you to have fun doing. It's all elective. You choose to do this. That's the key word here. But the other side of it is every business has a liability for a service that they're providing. This is why you get insurance to pay for these things, because inevitably somebody's gonna sue you. They don't care whether you intentionally made this happen or not. If you were not up to code or you did not do your safety checks, you're going to get sued. I mean, it's both of them are taking a risk if you don't make sure as a business that not everything is properly adequate before you have people get onto that. That's your fault. But I haven't looked into it. I don't know what the statistics are on
minimal. It
actually being, well, no, not on roller coasters happening, but on the ones that do happen. If the fault truly lies on a negligence from the roller coaster theme park, or if it's just a malfunction of the equipment that seems to happen, like that you can't control. And then honestly, shouldn't that really go back to the people who made the equipment, not the theme park who's holding the equipment?
I think you're missing the actual question.
I don't know. I'm getting on a lot of liability thing here.
Yeah, well, it's not a commercial. The question is, isn't that part of the aren't you?
I answered that.
And then you went into an insurance commercial.
There's liability on both sides.
Wow. No, insurance bad.
What?
Insurance company's bad.
You're bad.
I agree with that most of the time.
I guess there is a known risk going into it, but I guess I would assume that the amusement park is kind of guaranteeing your safety by you buying a ticket. By them taking your money in exchange for goods and services, they're letting you know that you're going to have a good time, a fun time, not that you're going to die. So
just like it.
I would say
that wasn't in the brochure.
I would say, yeah. I mean, people always in those instances want the park shut down or the ride destroyed or whatever. That I do think is extreme.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the park has a responsibility to the family of that person and whatnot. And probably to, close down that ride and check everything a few more times. But
do a couple tests.
Yeah, maybe throw some dummy mannequin rides out there or something. But
for children.
Yeah, or the elderly, because they don't have long anyway.
Look, when E. coli hit Chipotle, everybody was mad at Chipotle because they served them lettuce with E. coli. It's not like Chipotle.
I think that's different, though. That's a snack.
Everyone takes a risk when you have romaine lettuce.
I understand that, but I'm going to go.
I don't think that's true.
I'm going to go I'm going to put myself in a position where I'm going to go upside down at 65 miles an hour and pretty much just assume that nothing's going to go wrong. Well, things eventually are going to go wrong. There's just a law of averages. It's something at some point is going to happen. So at some point, you got to have some of the risk. We as humans think we're entitled to all these entertainment things where they're not probably the things that we should be doing necessarily. They're fun. So let's do it. Well, there's some risk to doing it. And if something bad happens, I think partly you got to assume responsibility for it. You chose to hop in a car and go 60 miles an hour and go upside down when you're not meant to.
Also, if you eat a Chipotle, you deserve a coli.
Excuse me?
And like bungee jumpers, when like a bungee jumper splats, I kind of just look at them and go, well, I mean, you had to jump off that cliff, so it's on you.
I hope we don't have any listeners who are family members of a lost bungee jumper.
So I got to worry about that now?
You can't let that haunt you forever, Amanda. But the bungee jump thing, I assume you probably sign a waiver for that.
Yeah.
But the amount of traffic the amusement park is getting, kind of like they build it up as a safe environment. They're advertising on Coke cans. Like they're pretty mainstream. It's not like a bungee jump is an extreme thing you choose to do. The amusement park is just supposed to be amusing.
Where they let children attend, which means
they got height. I never understand the height requirements. Like if you're not like 4 feet tall, then
isn't it for the safety bars to make sure that they hold you in?
But what if you're really thin? You could probably slip out too. And you know what? Natural selection. Maybe we can lose a couple kids.
It's like the TSA. It doesn't really do anything. It just makes you feel safer.
Isn't it kind of picking on little people?
Yes.
That's true. Do you think that Peter Dinklage can go?
Wow. Way to point somebody out. Way to point fingers.
Sorry. Do you think that guy from Game of Thrones can go?
Everybody knows who you meant. Might as well just stuck with the first one.
You must be talking about Gregor Clegane. Yes.
Question. Final question. Amanda, you already answered this. So, Zach, what's your most terrifying theme park experience? Have you had a terrifying one?
I don't know if I have. Aaron, I just try to live my life without fear is the problem. So,
quarter mile at a time.
Yeah, I've had frightening experiences on the way to a theme park ride, but
all right, give that one.
Well, it's just, you're a teenager, you pull over some hanky panky, a shotgun gets drawn on you by the landowner.
Wait, what?
What? Hold on, I'm way more intrigued in this than I was the roller coaster story.
That's the story.
Back it up.
On your way to Six Flags, you pull over into, the side of a like a deserted or a country road, and you're like in between these bushes, so you think it's all good to go. And then you're fooling around, you hear a little knock on the window, shotgun.
Whoa. Because you're on their property or something?
Exactly. And then they
banging on their property.
And then they yell at you. They're like, I'm tired of you teenagers coming here and doing this all the time. You're like, oh, I guess this is a pretty popular spot.
Sounds like the beginning of a serial killer story.
Is there a sign there that's like, have sex here or something? Like, why does everybody go to that one spot in the country?
It's pretty, like, the ditch is real shallow there, and like, there's, like, these bushes had a little bit of a gap. So it's a perfect spot. We've all been to these spots in our lives.
Wait a second. You were in the car because they tapped on the window, or you got out of the car?
No, I was in the car.
Huh.
So you put your car in a ditch so you could have sex?
No, it was very shallow. It was a shallow part of a ditch. So it was basically nothing.
All right.
Have you not driven before?
I have. I'm the one with the license here.
Have you not had roadside sex? I mean, come on.
I've had driving sex.
This is a completely different kind of theme park we're talking about.
You asked me to tell the story.
Yeah, I gotta stop that.
I merely hinted at it. In terms of the actual amusement park, I'm sure there was a time where I was separated from my mom or something. I was worried about finding the group again, but I do not remember ever being truly terrified of rides. No, but I can't. I'm sure I was afraid of roller coasters. I'm sure I was terrified of them as they were going on. I have like this vague memory of going to, I think, Universal Studios when I was a child, and maybe the roller coaster went over the water. I think I might have been afraid of that, or my memory made it so. You know how your childhood memories go? But otherwise, that's it. Feels like a dragon-themed roller coaster, maybe. Maybe I made all of this up. I don't know.
Seems like a lot.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Thank you.
Over water? A roller coaster over water?
No, there's like a little river thing.
Jaws ride?
It's actually one that you like, Aaron.
The Mummy?
No, it's the one at Six Flags, and it like swoops around and stuff, and then it like there's like
I could have sworn it was in Universal Studios. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I thought it was in
well,
Florida. Does it have a Universal Studios in Florida? Isn't that right?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm pretty sure there's one there, and there's like these two roller coasters, and I think it's like a blue dragon and a green dragon or something like that. And they like leave at the same time, and it's kind of like it's supposed to be like your dragons flying together or something. And I'm pretty sure it briefly goes out over the water.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Dragon Challenge?
I don't know the name of it. It's
closed.
It's not going to have... Oh, they don't have it anymore?
According to what I just found on Google.
Someone probably fell off into the ocean, so...
Right. I was on one of those Great America in Chicago. They had these like carts. They were like 3 different arms that held like 6 or 7 different carts that dangled. And they went super, super high up in the air. And I was in one of those where they got stuck. That was pretty terrifying.
Oh my God. See, this is what I'm talking about.
It just stayed up there forever. It was a good hour and a half, 2 hours. When I got down, they're like, well, we're sorry. And I'm like, you're not sorry. Give me some free tickets. And they wouldn't do it. So I had to go to their office, made a big stink. But I got free tickets out of it. So win-win is the way I look at it. I got a great view for about an hour and a half.
Yeah. There you go, man. Free.
But those things are terrifying because they dangle. So you're never stationary. It's always swinging. And if you move, it swings more. And that just becomes really like, how secure is that? Is it just like a bolt? Is that a hair tie holding me on? What is keeping me here?
And every woman knows that hairband is going to break.
I'm not a woman.
I said that's why every woman knows.
I know, but I was the terrified one. So therefore, I wouldn't know this.
Now
I
you
just
do.
assume. All right. So was my story truth or fiction?
Truth.
Truth?
It is true. In 1930, the Big Dipper coaster in Krug Park, Nebraska was the talk of the town, but due to brake failure, several cars plummeted off the tracks and 35 feet to the ground. 4 people died as a result of being crushed, and an additional 19 were injured.
Yep. Nope.
So Sally might have lived.
She very much could have lived.
No, she's dead.
By the way, it was 1930.
The numbers are on her side.
And I believe mechanical engineering has changed drastically since 1930, so you're probably safe.
You don't know that it's not like they update everything. Some of them are like, oh, this is the oldest roller coaster we have here.
No, it actually is that they do update everything because safety regulations require it.
Then how do they have that rickety old one that still goes and it's like
because they check it and they
old.
Replace stuff. I hope.
You don't know. I've heard it.
I sure don't know.
It's rickety for aesthetic.
I think it's rickety because it's old as hell.
All those wobbly boards are part of the aesthetic. We pay extra for the wobbly boards.
What's the name of your story?
Off the Rails.
Ooh, that's a smart title.
Just like this episode when you made me tell my story.
Shotgun.
Oh boy.
Oh, I'm going to have that visual for the rest of the night. All right, so as our show goes, we will
enjoy that one.
We will occasionally pick listener stories to read and discuss on Smirk. Not that way. If you'd like the chance to have yours read, email it to mystory@smirkpodcast.com. You can join the conversation by joining our Facebook group. Follow us on Twitter @SmirkPodcast. Use the show's hashtag Smirk. Don't miss an episode. Be sure to subscribe to Smirk in your podcast app of choice. Check out our website at smirkpodcast.com. And as you write your own life story, always remember to tell it with a smirk. And I don't think just because Amanda drives that she would know where the naughty parts of random fields would be. Is that part of the driving exam that I don't recall?
I think, well, you as a driver, you identify the spots you need to pull over to go to Pound Town.
You can be more dangerous and live life more fun like me and just have sex as the car is moving.
What the hell is wrong with both of you?
Everyone's been there. That's child's play.
Not everyone.
That's child's play?
You heard me.
Focus on the road.
We did.
You look over her shoulder.
There was 2 people worried about the wheel.
I don't want this story in my head.